The drink, we're clicking to the environment. We're clicking to the environment. We're drinking to the environment. Yes.
I can't. Oh, there you are. Hello.
Hi.
What's going on?
You know, adapting, all the things.
What did you say?
Adapting. That's what I've been telling everybody in coronavirus. Everyone's like, how are you? And I say adapting.
Yeah, that's good. Good way to put it.
I thought so. What's up with you?
House is treating you well?
Huh?
Adapting in your house is treating you well then?
I've gone through a few roller coasters that I hadn't anticipated or wanted to, but I am in a good place right now, so I'm happy. I'm good now. I'm actually dog sitting, so I have 3 beautiful dogs, and so if they decide to start barking, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I haven't learned to speak 100% dog yet, so.
How long have you had your dogs for?
Well, they're only, I'm dog sitting, so it's just for a week.
Okay, they're not your own. Okay.
They're not, no, they're not mine. But they decide to get up and start barking randomly at everything that runs outside, so.
What kind of dogs are they?
They're all rescues, but they're all black, and they're all about medium-sized, and I have no idea what breeds they are, but they're sleeping right now. Hopefully they stay that way for an hour. No, don't you dare. That happened. They heard a dog in the phone yesterday, and they were like, oh my God, and then I was on a work call with like 4 other people. It made things very chaotic.
That's awesome. It's funny.
So we're recording right now. Are you gonna chop this later, or is this?
Yeah, everything's always pre-recorded, so I'm gonna like chop it later. But pretty much like just like how we were going back and forth before the show. Yeah, it's just gonna be a regular conversation, and then we're gonna just be talking about your profession, everything else like that, projects and whatnot.
Okay.
But before we get started, I'm just gonna give a huge shout out the podcast is pretty much supporting My Brittle LLC, which is if in case you don't know, my friend Casey, she is a business owner and she makes her own peanut brittle, and believe it or not, it does not stick, and it's very crunchy and delicious. Yeah, that's everyone's reaction. They're just like, wait, it doesn't stick? How? Well, she has this very specific formula that she performs, and all my listeners that listen to the show, they can actually go to mybrittle.com and at checkout, after they purchase whatever peanut brittle they would like, they can enter the promo code drink sust at checkout and get a small discount, and just to show that you guys are supporting the podcast and also my friend. And all these ads, and I say ads because I'm not getting paid for it, I'm not getting paid for any of these, I'm just trying to help a friend out. So go to mybrittle.com, enter the promo code drink sust. It'll also be in the link in the description below the video. DRINKSUST. And then, you could get a small discount and enjoy delicious homemade food and dessert.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Oh, it is. I had a bunch of my housemates try it, and nothing but great things to it, so I'm happy about it. And then and then one other thing, I'm actually drinking it right now. Huge shout out to Beach Haus Brewery.
Local.
I can't. No, that looks a little blurry, but Beach Haus Brewery in Belmar. This one is called Lighthouse Lager. It's actually really good. That is really good. And huge shout out to them. They gave me a nice 6-pack for this occasion, so I will be drinking that. And they also support environmental initiatives, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely check them out in Belmar on Main Street, and have fun. So without any further ado, this is GraceAnne. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having
GraceAnne
me.
Taylor. Cheers to you, GraceAnne.
Cheers.
Thanks for being on the show. Clink.
Yes, thank-
Virtual clink there.
Got my sustainable, reusable water bottle.
Yeah. Like it. I like it. We can't even use those anymore right now, which kind of sucks, but what are you gonna do? Like you
What
said,
do you
we're all
mean?
adapting.
Why can't you use reusable water bottles?
Let me rephrase that. You can't use it at a public service area.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, like if you want to, use your own cup at Starbucks or
Right.
Wawa or whatever, you can't really do that.
Oh,
So
wow.
I should have specified that part a little bit more.
You know what? That's the craziest part. I haven't actually been into a store or a restaurant to do that, and that I had no idea. Like I just
Well,
haven't
nice.
even.
Oh yeah, because you work from home, so you got lucky on that respect.
There is two sides to that sword. There's
True.
definitely the advantages. There's advantages, but there are also some disadvantages because my
That
job
is true.
requires being in the face of people. So
That
you
is
know.
true. Well, how's working from home? Like, how's working remotely?
So Save Barnegat Bay went remote, and initially, when you're at the eco center, there's lots of different things going on, and so there's a lot of moving parts. So you think when you're working from home, you'll have this like mental space to like get all these other creative projects done. But in reality, the whole world went remote. So all of our meetings went to Zoom, and there's still a ton of initiatives going on. And one of the most challenging things for me personally is just that I really love teaching, and it's a lot harder to teach environmental ideas through a video because I really would love to have my audience touching, smelling, experiencing.
Right, being more hands-on.
Yeah, so there's been challenging parts, but we have adapted. So, Facebook Live has been a huge tool for us, obviously Zoom. So we're finding ways to adapt. I think it's been okay. I think people have been enjoying our programs despite the fact that they're not there with me. So doing all right.
That's awesome. I'm happy you guys still get to get involved with the community still.
Yeah, I think we're really fortunate that way, actually, because a lot of groups, I think, are having hard times. And I don't just mean nonprofits, I just mean people in general. It's just, one of those times where everyone is struggling, and, we have we're really fortunate ability to keep working. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that you bring up a good point, just because, like I said, going back to the whole working remotely, I would like to work remotely, but I still work as well, so I'm fortunate that I still have a paycheck coming in. I don't work in the environmental field, unfortunately, but fortunately, I got a job where my dad actually works. He works remotely, but I have to actually go into the facility and do what I gotta do.
Which is what?
I actually work in the meat industry.
Aha.
Yeah.
So are you processing meat to be packaged for the grocery store?
Yeah, so I work in the shipping and receiving, so I work for a distributor. So I'm pretty much just receiving pallets of meat, chicken, whatever the case may be, whether it's, the vegetarian meat or the actual the regular meat itself. I'm receiving that and organizing it and all that stuff. So I'm doing that pretty much right now. So it's a 45-minute drive, which it is what it is. But yeah, it's nice to come back home and unwind. So, but yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm just really happy that I'm still moving around.
Yes.
So,
Something to definitely be grateful for.
yeah, for sure. And whenever I can, I definitely still go surfing to, just escape from everyone. So,
Yes. Socially distanced sports became extremely useful this summer.
yeah,
Sports that didn't
definitely.
require contact with other people. Yeah.
Well, yeah, 'cause I mean, like surfers are already like, pretty far apart from each other anyway. So it's just like nothing has really changed in that
Right.
respect. So it's
Right.
still nice to like get out in the water, be within the um, oceanic nature, if you will, I have a better word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to feel Mother Nature's energy just pushing you through the wave.
Surreal.
Oh, it is. It's interesting. A couple episodes back when I was having this guy Matt on the show, we were actually talking about like the feeling of like going through the barrel and like going down the line of a wave, and we were trying to explain it as best as we could, and then we're just like, you just gotta go out and do it to like experience it for yourself.
I can see
But
that being something hard to describe. I try to describe scuba diving to people and they don't necessarily uh they don't get it until they do it. Like they get it
exactly,
mostly
yeah,
and then they're like, I want to do it, and then they try it and they're like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. So
yeah. That's a similar thing too. Like you have to like be hands on. You have to actually do it in order to really understand what a more experienced individual is talking about.
right.
So, but anyway, I actually want to understand. So, GraceAnne Taylor, describe what you do for a living.
So for my full-time employment, you mean at Save Barnegat Bay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm the education and outreach coordinator there. I will have been there for 3 years very soon. And I call myself an informal educator. So unlike teachers that have classrooms and, curriculums that they have to follow, I get the unique advantage of getting to speak with a lot of different age groups, communities, and people of all different, groups. And I bring all kinds of environmental information to them in the ways that, is applicable to that community. So Save Barnegat Bay serves mostly the Barnegat Bay watershed and Ocean County. We do venture out of the county in the watershed to do other things. But, for the most part, I'm working within our 37 municipalities, going into schools, festivals, homeowners associations, yacht clubs, youth groups, community organizations, partner nonprofits, partner government organizations, every which way, to help people understand the things that we're doing to impact the local environment, and also just the basics of how our environment works with, I think, it's interesting because we all have different professions. So I take it as a responsibility and a burden to help people learn about how nature functions, because I think like, someone who's an accountant or a doctor or someone else, they don't have the same bandwidth or time to learn those things. So I try to pick the most important pieces and help people understand what they are so that we can make good decisions, as far as our homes and our cars and our, all of our behaviors that affect everybody, the water, the air, everything else. So that's what I do in a nutshell. That wasn't very short.
That was awesome.
That's what I do.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think one of my favorite things about it is I don't have to be like coloring in the lines, like I feel like if I had a curriculum, I would have to follow kind of a blueprint every day. But I have the unique advantage of being able to pick the topic that's important on, on everybody's minds or seasonal. so I can really adapt, kind of like I said I was doing for coronavirus. You have to adapt to what, what's on everyone's mind and what needs to be talked about immediately. Is there legislation being passed that needs attention? Is there, a bunch of jellyfish in the bay that, we're trying to identify or educate about, so I have that really cool advantage that I can, just have fun with it and be on, the leading edge of the information instead of I don't have a script I have to follow. So.
That sounds so fun. That's awesome.
It can be fun and it can be chaotic, because there's so many different groups of people and a lot of, on a regular summer, obviously we're in COVID, but like a regular summer, it would be insane. I would be working most evenings and weekends trying to, work with the public, running kayak programs, seining, just getting everybody, you want to get everybody outside, during these beautiful months of weather.
Yeah, until the winter hits.
Even we try really hard to find things to engage people in the winter, but it's definitely a different crowd because obviously in Ocean County we have a bigger population in the summer. We've got
absolutely.
So our population doubles. Do you know that? Almost doubles.
Population doubles in the summer?
Yeah.
Everyone from like all over just kind of just comes right in and just sits here for like the weekend or for a couple months out of the summer.
Yeah.
Insane.
But it's so crazy. Like if you think about logistics, like you think about how much water we use or how many cars are on the road or, how many resources we need, this whole area is twice as, it's just, I don't know if people realize that, it's just kind of,
I sometimes don't even realize it.
I mean, I know we realize
give me
it
more of a perspective on what you're thinking right now.
Well, it's like when we're in the car, we think about it because we're like, oh, there's so much traffic. So that's the time I think.
I get to work. Move over.
I know. We all wish for the local lane.
Yeah, right.
But people from, people who don't live here support our economy. So
they do, yeah.
Without them, we can't live here year round. That's the truth. So, but yes. I always think about it from an environmental standpoint. I think about it as far as, water resources being one of the biggest ones, like water being used and then water going out into the wastewater treatment system. Those are things I think that are kind of unknown to us. Like that's like totally.
Well, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. So you don't really necessarily, right. I'm like, what's that water treatment plant? Like, how much is it treating right now? Like, you don't think about that.
Yeah. Nobody thinks about that. I think the thing that we could think more about maybe is like how much we use, because then in turn it would be reflected in how much has to get treated. You know what I mean? Like if we think about it coming in more consciously, then we'll be better about not overloading the other end of the process. So obviously water conservation, it plays into environmental conversations, but I feel like we don't talk about it that much because I think we expect that people already know that thing. Like we don't talk about recycling as much either because we're like, oh, everyone knows how to recycle. Everyone knows to conserve water, so they're the unknowns that I like to talk about because I like to shed light on.
Well, I do actually feel like people know generally how to recycle, but like the actual process, like I'm still researching some of the process on how to recycle and actually the proper way, just because, what was it, a few years back, I just realized that, and I asked an actual facility operator that handles it, and even a couple of my former professors, and a bunch of them just say, sometimes even if it looks recyclable, it actually is not.
No,
and
sir.
Also, yeah, and also, what I also did learn, and I passed this down to over to my parents as well, and this was a whole shocker to my mom especially, was that in order to actually effectively recycle some kind of, you know, plastic bottle or whatever, you actually have to like thoroughly wash it out, or else the contaminants, like, it might as well just be in the trash already.
Yeah, it's actually incredible how much we think is recyclable that's not, especially for
Right.
like single stream Ocean County recycling. It's incredible how many people put things in the recycling and they're not actually recyclable, and all that does is just clog up the process and cost more money.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's definitely a broken we definitely need more education on that for sure, like everybody, even me, because it unfortunately is
Hey,
more
we could all use more education on that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Or just in education in general. But
yeah, for sure.
like, well, because when I think it was, I want to say number 16. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly, but my one past show that I had about a year ago with, if you want to go check it out, it's the Drink Sustainability with Ashley Leone and Ted Kaiser. Go check that out too. Pause this and go check that out so you understand what we're talking about. But no, Ted Kaiser actually ships it, like he operates a recycling this distribution company.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ted, by the way. But yeah, he even, the whole show we just talked about like how, I think it's actually less now than before, but at the time it was only like 9 or 10% of all material gets actually recycled, and now it's, I think, about 6 or 7. I'm like, what are we doing? We need a better method.
Recycling is not the answer to sustainability. I think we were raised to think that for a while there, but
Yeah, definitely.
it's not the answer. It's actually, we have to reduce in the first place, like at the gate, and then rethink how we're using the things and repurpose the things we already have. And then we can talk about recycling and, you know, reusing and everything, you know, the rest of it. So yeah, we have to reduce. That's like the biggest thing. That should be the
Reduce
starter.
how much we're producing or taking in.
Yes, all of the above. Reduce how much we're consuming, reduce how much we're using, reduce. There are, you know, 7 billion people on the planet, and frankly, the resources that the planet has to offer are not infinite, you know, so we just have to be cognizant of that, because, you know, all of us need those same resources. So, you know, we just need to
Yeah, that's true.
be thoughtful.
I mean, the whole thing about that stigma, I guess you could say, is because as soon as you say, oh, we have to like reduce as much as we can that we're taking in, and all of a sudden people instantly think, I mean, I even thought it too, and that's why I'm bringing it up, is like, wait, I have to like reduce the amount of, you know, food I take in, or how many times I use the shower, use the facility or something. Like, I have to reduce the amount of all that stuff. Like, I feel like that's kind of like a stigma that some people do have.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because I think as soon as we start to encroach on people's comfort, they are not going to want to change their behavior. So, like, reduce means, I'm trying to think of something that's fairly unoffensive, that's not going to, you know, create, like, that I could make the point without creating a problem.
Well,
okay, I got one. So
okay.
if you're making food and you know, expect that you're going to eat, you know, I don't know, if you're making something that's itemized, make it easy. So let's say you're going to make chicken wings, and there's 2 people, so you know that both of you can eat 10 chicken wings each. Now, depending on however many that is, you're not going to make 30 chicken wings and then throw 10 away. You know what I mean? So even things as small as just being cognizant of like using what you need and not wasting something as simple as food, which is something I think that gets wasted more than anything else, because it's very easy to just go back to the grocery store and pick up the thing that you didn't, you know what I mean? I think that That one's
We're all
something
guilty of that one.
that's exactly what I mean. Like that's a perfect place to cut back. Or like, you know, if you can't eat the vegetables before they're gonna rot in the fridge or on the counter, you know, meal plan. And that is definitely something we can all do and not reduce how much we're eating. That's just a matter of better planning. And that could potentially, you know, create less waste. So something like that. Or like if you're at the dollar store and you know, buy a bunch of stuff you don't need or want and you're just buying it to buy it, it's kind of like, okay, well, you know, like things like that, like things you like legitimately don't need. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, yeah, like definitely just, I mean, I learned this from my parents is they're like, if you want something, write it on the list.
Right.
So at least you know, but like what I've found for myself is that as soon as I grab something, I'm like, sometimes, like, depending on the item I'm grabbing from like the supermarket or the local farm market or whatever, I'm just like, am I really gonna eat these? Because sometimes I'll just grab a whole bunch of stuff thinking I'm gonna eat it, and then like it goes bad within a few days, and I'm like, crap. Like, because I don't like to waste good food, because like, I mean, I like then I don't know. I don't like to waste good food or just food in general, just because then I just don't feel good.
Yeah, food waste is actually one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm like the most annoying person when we're on like group trips or group anything where there's like a lot of people and a lot of logistics. I'm always
And
the
you're
one
like one of those people
like,
that are like, you better eat that.
yes, actually, I'm exactly that person. And then
Oh my
like at the
God.
office, I have like I call myself like the fridge police, and it's maybe it's a little
The
not
fridge
becoming,
police?
but like seriously, it like, okay, at work offices, and this is not like a Save Barnegat Bay issue. This is like a literally every office on the planet issue. You know, someone buys a sandwich and forgets it in there, and then before you know it, there's all kinds of food in the fridge.
That
That is like,
happened. Yeah,
that is everywhere. You are not
that is.
telling me that
Yeah.
an office has never seen that problem. And
Oh,
so it creates
I've been
problems.
in. Yeah, I've
It
been in
wastes
so many
food.
facilities. Yeah.
It wastes food, it wastes money, and then it causes rotten smells in your office, and
Yeah.
it just makes everyone feel not good about it. So if you
No, then you
leave
kind
something
of
at the
stuff that
office,
causes like bicker fights and all that kind of stuff, and then you're just like,
right,
just get rid of it,
right.
clean it out, be done.
So everyone pretty much knows if you leave something at the office that like is not like if you leave something that's like uneaten and like not gross or
Well, that's
anything,
gonna turn
I
into a
will eat
science project in a week.
it. Yeah. I will eat it, which is sometimes been like if there's like
But you
extra
will eat
donuts and
what?
stuff, I'll eat the food that's left over. So it's not
Right after.
like
Okay. No, because
it's
like
no,
all of a
I'm
sudden
not
I'm
like
like, yeah, it turns into science project. You're like, I'll eat that. I'm like, can you rephrase
no,
what you just said?
if it's rotten, I'm not gonna eat it. But
Like,
you
yeah.
can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to attempt to eat it until it is inedible because I cannot it's not fair. It is not fair for us to use
Yeah.
our privilege to buy food that we are not going to eat because all it does on the opposite side of the supply chain is tell the stores and everyone else that we need that food because we're buying it and then all we're doing is throwing it away. So
Yeah, that's
that's
true.
not helping anybody. It's just
Then also
privilege and
there
it's
are
wasteful.
actually like, starving people that don't even have a dollar to their name,
Right.
and they're just trying
Which
to ask for food too. So I
funny
mean,
story, like we could solve world hunger, like there's enough food to solve world hunger. It's not that there's not enough food, it's that we don't move it around the planet the right way, which is even worse, but that's for another day, another
probably
conversation.
for another episode we could go into
Another day. Yeah.
But
Food waste, huge pet peeve. Can't do it.
no, I definitely try to. That's why like my family calls me like the human grazer slash lunchbox, just because I do eat a lot, but I'll eat a lot. Like say we sit down for family dinner, like say at 5, right? And we normally say, "Get comfy," because we will literally sit at the dinner table for hours. I'm very fortunate that I have the family that I have because they are freaking awesome. We have a great time all the time. But like, I will literally I'll, eat my food, and then sometimes I'll go for seconds because I know I will eat it because I'm also hungry. But sometimes I'll just like, I'll get into the conversation, okay, eat a little bit more. Get into the conversation, eat a little bit more, like alternate. But yeah, like pretty much the message that we're trying to pretty much say is, if you're not truly, if you're not totally what's the word, committed to getting whatever food you're getting, most likely you're not going to eat it. If you're like, maybe kind of iffy, just worst case scenario, you go back and grab it again.
Right.
But put it down.
Right.
That's it.
And that goes for all things.
I do that.
Like,
I do that now. I'm like,
literally
am I really gonna eat it? Sometimes I'll actually have like a doubt in my mind. I'm like, I'll get it. Worst case scenario, I'll get it later, and then I never do.
Right. And that like that goes for all things, not just food. Like if you feel like you're not going to use the
That's
thing,
good
you're
too.
not sure you need it or whatever, just it'll be there tomorrow.
And a lot of these are actually like, once I think about it, it's like, these aren't like the most complicated habits. They're really just a quick 5-second thought. Like,
Yeah.
10 to 5, and you're just like, should I? Nah, I won't. 5 seconds, you're done.
That's actually a lot of behavior changes when it comes to sustainable choices. Like a simple one that I've seen a lot of people switch to, like, you talk about toothbrushes. That's one of the trendier ones. Switching to a toothbrush that's not made of a plastic handle. Most people don't care what the what the handle is made of, because who cares? You're holding it. It still serves the same function. But that's one of those ones that's like, it takes half a second to decide to buy the other one, so
Yeah.
There a lot of behavior changes when we talk about sustainability, actually,
It's a lot
don't
just,
take a lot of effort.
right, yeah, it's well, because I just feel like, I guess not really big media, but just like other, I guess, more major groups, maybe, like the way everyone keeps on, like, a lot of the green-minded people, like, I feel like initially they pretty much like really
Ostracized?
portrayed that, like, that mindset, and that kind of like scared a lot of people, and now we're trying to like really like redefine it so it makes more sense. It's more comprehensive.
Yeah. They thought we were all granola crunchy stinky hippies.
Tree huggers, all that kind of stuff.
We're not.
I still kind of am, but not really.
I mean, I am too, but like, I could, if I met someone who wanted to keep their comfort of life that is not like stereotypical, earthy, whatever, I could totally come up with a plan for someone, and you'd never know walking down the street. Like, they could still walk down the street looking and acting the same way that they do, making different decisions, and it wouldn't change their comfort.
Yeah, for sure. And
There are
actually,
ways.
I want to go into something, a topic that you just actually reminded me of, and it kind of goes into habits and stuff. But real quick, we're actually gonna take a really quick break, and then we'll come back into this whole show.
Okay.
So yeah, stay tuned, guys. Be back shortly.